Welcome to the channel Shadows in the Night. Tonight, I will tell you a story about an isolated, cold village where darkness always hangs heavy and death lurks in every gust of wind. That village is called Bai Se, a poor countryside hamlet beside a deserted field, where old graves crowd together like standing shadows waiting. As dusk fell, the whole village fell silent. Only the hair-raising howls of dogs and the wind sweeping across torn thatched roofs could be heard. The elders say Bai Se has been haunted for a long time. Anyone who lives there is bound to be touched by misfortune. In the little house at the end of the lane lived a poor family. Ong Hung, a man nearing 50, had spent his life with a hoe and plow. Ba Lin, his wife, lay bedridden after a stroke, her eyes hollow with sorrow. And Min, their 15-year-old daughter, thin but obedient and studious, dreamed of becoming a doctor one day so she could heal her mother. The villagers felt deep sympathy. Everyone said, "Min is gentle and talented, blessed by heaven. May Ong Hung's family find peace." But that blessing did not last. That night a cold wind swept over the rooftops. In the small room, Ba Lin drifted in and out of a troubled sleep. Then, a terrible dream came over her. She saw Min, her daughter, soaked in blood, her face twisted, mouth screaming in pain. "Mother, help me, save me." Ba Lin trembled, wanting to run and embrace her child, but her limbs felt bound. In the dream a giant black butterfly appeared. Its wings spread wide, bearing two human eyes blazing red, shining as if they stared straight into her heart. From its wings came a shrill, horrific screech, like nails scratching a coffin. Who's there? Don't look at me." She tried to scream but her throat tightened. It felt as if an invisible hand pressed on her chest, squeezing her breath. In the darkness a cold, fragmented whisper echoed, "Blood will spill, unsettled souls." Ba Lin jolted awake, sweat soaked her brow, her whole body shook, eyes wide as if she had just escaped the Reaper's blade. The room was dense with darkness. The wind whistled through the cracks, and a heavy scent of incense lingered even though no one had lit any. "Oh my God, Min, my child," she tried to call, her voice lost in the quiet house. Outside, Ong Hung was still patching a bamboo basket. Hearing his wife, he rushed in alarm. "What's wrong with you? What dream has left you sweating like this?" I saw Min. She was covered in blood." She cried for help. "Oh God, husband." Ong Hung sighed and wiped his wife's sweat with his hand. "Come now, don't let your mind play tricks. The girl studies at school, she's fine. Dreams are just dreams." No, it wasn't a dream. There was a huge black butterfly. It had bright red eyes, staring straight at me. Ong Hung shuddered. A nameless fear rose within him, but he forced a smile and suppressed it. "That's enough. You're weak. You worried too much. Sleep now. I'll keep watch." Ba Lin gripped her husband's hand, panic in her eyes. "Oh, I'm so afraid. I feel like someone is watching our house." At midnight, when Ong Hung stepped out onto the porch, a cold gust swept past. Pale moonlight fell across the deserted field ahead, and there, on the roof beam, a black butterfly as large as a hand perched silently. Its wings quivered faintly, the two glowing red eyes on them blinking, staring straight at him. Ong Hung froze, his heart pounding. Dear heavens! The butterfly suddenly beat its wings, circling with a rustling sound like whispers. In that fleeting moment, he heard his daughter's voice echoing faintly. "Father, it's so cold." Sweat broke out on his forehead, his trembling hand clutching the porch post. But in an instant, the butterfly vanished into the night. He turned back inside, too afraid to tell his wife. Yet within him, a wave of unease rose like a raging tide. The next morning, Bai Se village was as always, wrapped in misty stillness, the distant crowing of roosters, scattered barks of dogs. Min carried her worn school bag, pedaled out of the alley, and glanced back with a smile. "Mom, Dad, remember to eat breakfast. I'm off to school." Ba Lin watched her go, her heart heavy. Last night's dream still cut like a blade. "Husband, I'm so worried." Ong Hung stood beside her, face pensive. his eyes fixed on his daughter's fading figure at the end of the dirt road. The cold wind still blew, as if carrying an omen yet unnamed. The dirt road cut across the village field, still damp after the night's rain. A few farmers out early for harvest whispered nervously. At dawn I saw a black butterfly as big as a hand, perched right on the old kapok tree at the edge of the village. Lord, that sends shivers down my spine. A black butterfly on the kapok tree is never a good sign. The elders always said, night butterflies are the souls of the dead reborn. Their whispers drifted with the wind into every narrow lane. Whoever heard it felt chills and hurried home to bolt their doors. Inside the thatched hut at the end of the hamlet, Pauline was still haunted. All morning she clutched the blanket, her eyes fixed on the clay wall. The faint scent of incense lingered, though the altar was cold and unlit. Husband, I hear, like someone crying in the corner of the room. Ong Hung froze as he stoked the fire. He tilted his head to listen. Indeed, there was a faint sobbing, coming from the family photo hanging on the wall. Min, is that you? The photo trembled. The wooden frame crashed to the ground and shattered. From the picture, red streaks spread like seeping blood. Pauline screamed, her hands shaking violently. My God, blood, it's dripping from Min's photo. Ong Hung's face drained of all color. Stammering, it must just be the ink fading. But in his heart he knew. It was not ink. That night, Ong Hung couldn't sleep. The dim oil lamp cast long shadows on the wall. Outside, the wind howled across the empty fields. Suddenly, a sharp click sounded, then clack clack clack, the altar trembled. He bolted upright, staring, and then, the giant black butterfly appeared, circling slowly around the altar. The red eyes on its wings blinked as if they were breathing. In the heavy silence, a whisper came, hazy yet clear. Father, it's so cold. Ong Hung trembled, collapsing to the dirt floor, his hands clawing at the ground. Child, what do you want to tell me? The rustling of its wings echoed like knuckles rapping on a coffin. Then a pale figure flickered by the porch, small and familiar, with long hair veiling its face. Oh God, Min, is that you? The figure halted, then turned its head, red glowing eyes flaring in the dark. A whisper stretched out, broken, right at his ear. Blood will spill? Ong Hung screamed, collapsing. The pale figure vanished. The black butterfly shot out into the fields, leaving only a void of gloom. The next morning, the sky was gray, thick with dark clouds. Min once again pedaled out of the alley. Before leaving, she looked back. Mom, Dad, don't worry. I'll be back this afternoon to cook porridge for you. Mom. Ong Hung swallowed hard, hiding his dread. Pauline clutched her daughter's hand, eyes wet. Min, stay home today. I'm so afraid. Don't worry. Mom, it was only a dream. I need to go for the midterm exam. I promise I'll be home early. The purple bicycle rolled away, fading. Her thin figure disappeared down the dirt road leading to the ancient kapok tree. In the wind, the sound of butterfly wings rustled again, foretelling a calamity drawing near. The deserted intercommune road stretched between barren rice fields, only stubble left behind. In the middle stood an ancient kapok tree, its trunk gnarled, roots twisted like snakes above the soil. Villagers always whispered, beneath that tree lie restless souls buried since wartime. And anyone passing at midnight hears their cries. That morning, Min pedaled to school as usual. The sky was overcast, cold wind hissing through the grass. By the roadside, an old woman carrying straw shook her head and murmured, "The poor girl rides alone. Past the kapok tree on a day this dark, it can't be good." By noon, dreadful news spread through the village. A truck from Tonki town barreled down the road, reckless and fast. The driver was Tai, owner of the fertilizer shop, wealthy, cruel, feared by all. The tires screeched on the dirt road, dust clouding the air. The truck slammed straight into Min. Her small purple bicycle stood no chance. A thunderous crash, metal crumpled. Min was thrown beneath the truck, her fragile body crushed. Blood splattered across the road, her face twisted, eyes wide open. Villagers nearby screamed in horror. My God, someone's dead. It's Min, Ong Hung's daughter. Blood? The whole road is soaked in blood. The truck lurched, then stopped. Tai stepped down, cigarette dangling, his face shameless. He didn't even glance at the girl's body. She darted out. How was I supposed to stop? Bad luck, that's all. Witnesses seethed but stayed silent. Tai had money, and ties to officials. To oppose him was to invite disaster. When the news reached him, Ong Hung felt lightning strike his heart. He rushed to the scene, collapsed beside his daughter's body. Min, my child, how could you leave us? His cries broke into choking sobs. Min's blood soaked into his worn brown shirt. And in that moment of despair, he saw it, the giant black butterfly perched on her corpse. Its blazing red eyes flickered, drilling into his soul. A chilling whisper hissed by his ear. Father, it hurts, avenge me? Ong Hung snapped his head up, eyes bloodshot, chest tight, his whole body trembled with grief and fear. Who took my child? Give her back to me. But only the wind answered, and the harsh caws of crows in the kapok branches. Villagers stood far off, shaking their heads in sorrow, too afraid to approach. By dusk, Min's body was brought home in a plain wooden coffin. Bai Se village sank into the mournful sound of funeral horns. On her bed, Ba Lin saw her daughter's lifeless form inside the coffin. She could only cry out 2 words before fainting. Min, oh? The little house drowned in wailing. On the altar, the oil lamp flickered, incense smoke thickened. The black butterfly appeared again, circling before landing on the coffin lid. Its red eyes blinked, glowing across the room. Through the moaning wind, the broken whisper rose once more. I'm so cold, Father. Ong Hung shook violently, clutching the coffin, crying in despair. The house seemed to sway in the darkness. And from that moment, the true horror began. The first night of the funeral, the house was steeped in incense smoke, the mournful sound of funeral horns still echoing faintly from the village lane. Neighbors crowded the yard, some lighting incense, others wiping away tears. Min's coffin rested in the center of the room, the flickering oil lamp casting light on her stiffened face. The wooden lid was pulled close, as if a slight touch could push it open. As midnight came, guests slowly departed. Only Ong Hung remained, sitting blankly before the altar, his eyes swollen red. Ba Lin lay bedridden, her pillow soaked with tears. In the hushed darkness, suddenly, the shuffling sound of slippers echoed down the hall. Slow, distinct. Who's there? Who's walking out there? Ong Hung strained his eyes toward the porch, where the lamplight did not reach. And then he saw it, a pale figure gliding slowly. Long hair hung in disarray, a small fragile body moving past. His heart pounded violently. Min, is that you? The white figure stopped, tilting its head toward him. Beneath the curtain of hair, 2 glowing red eyes gleamed like burning coals. A chilling whisper stretched out. Father, I'm cold? Ong Hung shuddered, gripping the mat's edge with trembling hands. Child, are you still not at peace? From the bedroom, Ba Lin suddenly screamed. She's standing right beside me. Oh God, she's right at my bedside. Ong Hung rushed in, but found only the wind tearing through the open window. The pale figure was gone. On the floor, wet slipper prints remained, spreading like blood. That whole night, Ong Hung couldn't close his eyes. The oil lamp flickered, shadows thickened and thinned, as if something hid in them. Soft crying rose again, this time from inside the coffin. Father, open it for me, it's dark. I'm scared. Ong Hung reeled, his whole body icy cold. He rushed forward, clutching the coffin, wailing, My child, I'm here. Don't cry anymore, please. The coffin lid trembled, creaking. The air in the house froze, as though something strange had seeped in. On the porch, the black butterfly appeared again. It perched on the pillar, its red eyes blinking, staring into him. The rustling of its wings echoed like knuckles rapping on a door. The broken whisper filled the room, reverberating against every wall. Blood, unpaid, soul, unquiet. Ong Hung collapsed, sobbing like a child. Min, tell me what you want, speak to your father. But only the howling wind, the acrid scent of incense, and the butterfly's burning red gaze answered him. Night had moved into the second watch. The house was pitch dark except for the wavering oil lamp. Ong Hung sat motionless by the coffin, eyes hollow, hands gripping the bamboo cutting knife as if clutching something to hold on to. Outside the yard the wind howled, making the thatch roof creak. The old kapok tree at the village edge shuddered, dry leaves rustling down. Pauline lay in the bedroom, eyes wide open, mumbling, "She's come back, she really came back, she's standing right at my bedside." Suddenly the coffin trembled, the wood creaked and groaned as if something were scratching from within. Ong Hung froze, his heart lurching. "Min, are you really in there?" Then, the scratching grew distinct. Scratch, scratch, scratch? A faint, trembling whisper came, like someone running out of breath. "Father, open for me, it's so dark. I can't breathe." Ong Hung fell to his knees, hands shaking as he pressed them to the wooden lid. "Child, you're dead? Don't torment your father." The coffin lid suddenly burst open, shaking violently. The whole room quivered, incense smoke billowing. The oil lamp went out and darkness swallowed the room. In the blackness, Ong Hung heard pounding from inside the coffin. The knocks came faster and harder, echoing like a war drum. "Father, I'm so cold. It hurts so much. Good heavens, have mercy on me." He clutched his head and wailed in despair. The crying circled on and on. Then a narrow crack appeared as the coffin lid pushed up. A ghostly pale hand thrust out, fingers icy, clawing at the edge of the wood. Ong Hung screamed and toppled backward. Pauline in the bedroom screamed in terror. "She's out." She crawled out. The oil lamp flared back to life, casting a sickly yellow light on that hand. Instantly the hand turned to ash and crumbled, drifting down to the floor. The coffin slammed shut. Incense smoke spun into a whirl, giving off a metallic, bloody tang. On the porch the black butterfly appeared once more. It circled above the roof, wings slapping with a rattling sound. From the red eyes on its wings, a broken voice descended. "Blood, blood must be paid." Ong Hung collapsed, trembling, mumbling between sobs. "Min, I know now. I will not let you die in vain." In the darkness the crying rose again, receding this time, choked and swallowed as if dragged into the murky beyond. That night Ong Hung could not close his eyes. He sat dazed before the altar, a bottle of rice wine in front of him, drinking in rapid gulps, but the burn of the liquor could not dull the cold in his chest. The wind whistled through the cracks and the sound of flapping wings came with it. A black butterfly the size of a hand landed silently in the incense bowl, its red eyes blazing in the dark. Its voice came, fragmented, as if rising from the bottom of a grave. "The wronged soul, not at peace, blood, blood for blood?" Ong Hung trembled. "Who are you? Why haunt our home?" The wings flickered and the darkness in the room seemed to thicken. Then, Min's figure appeared right behind him. Her long hair hung over her face, and her pale hands rested on her father's shoulders, ice cold to the touch. "Father, there is no justice, only vengeance remains." Ong Hung stood frozen, tears welling up. What do you want me to do? Tell me." Min's voice choked, echoing through the house. "He must die, only his blood can settle the debt, otherwise my soul will wander forever." Pauline in the bedroom heard every word, her teeth clenched, her whole body shaking. "Heaven help me, my child, she really wants revenge." The house suddenly shook. The wooden door slammed open. Outside in the yard shadows swirled, the sound of a child crying mixed with terrible, ringing laughter. The black butterfly spread its wings, circled the coffin, then landed on Ong Hung's shoulder. The red eyes on its wings flashed, burning into his face as if scorching every vein. "Go, blood for blood, only then will the grudge end." Ong Hung threw his head back and howled in despair. "If I must die, then I will die with her, but before I die, I'll make Tai taste it." That oath rang through the house, blending with the thunderous flapping of the butterfly's wings like a war drum. From that moment, Ong Hung knew, the road before him had no turning back. That night Ong Hung dozed off beside the altar. In a fitful dream he heard all along, bone-cold wind howl. He opened his eyes, and found himself standing in the Baisei field. The moon hung dim and murky, its light barely revealing the kapok tree with its skeletal branches, looming like a giant demon. On the branches dozens of pale figures hovered, hair hanging over their faces. Swaying with the wind, a chorus of moans rose together, chilling like lamentations from the netherworld. Wronged, wronged? Blood, demands blood? Ong Hung trembled and tried to turn and run, but his legs felt heavy, stuck fast in the mud. From afar, the roar of a truck grew loud. Its headlights blinded him, and there, under the kapok tree, Min's small purple bicycle lay crushed, its wheel mangled and caked with blood. A tiny figure appeared. It was Min. She wore her blood-stained school uniform, her face disfigured, one side swollen, eyes glowing red like embers. "Father, he killed me, it hurts so much." Ong Hung broke down, reaching out toward her. "Child, I'm here. I will make him pay for what he did." The girl stepped closer, blood dripping onto the earth. A grin split across her face. "If you don't do it, I will pull you down with me." Ong Hung recoiled in terror. "Don't, Min, don't drag me." Suddenly, from the kapok branches, the giant black butterfly unfurled its wings. The red eyes on its wings flared, casting light straight down at him. That terrible voice spoke again. "The time has come, blood must be paid." The truck thundered near, tires screeched. Ong Hung shouted and woke with a start. He realized he was still sitting in the house, sweat pouring off him. The bamboo cutting knife rolled from his hand to the floor. But on the porch, the flutter of the butterfly's wings kept echoing. And for a moment the door flew wide open, a cold gust rushing in carrying the metallic, bloody smell of iron. The night was quiet. The moon was a faded coin behind heavy clouds. Ong Hung sat on the doorstep, clutching a bottle of wine, his eyes fixed on the distant silhouette of the kapok tree rising out of the dark. A cold gust blew, carrying a whispering call. "Come here, come here." Ong Hung shivered and peered into the gloom. At the base of the kapok tree, a figure stood, shadowy and still. He muttered, Who is standing out there in the night?" The figure did not move. Long hair hung loose, a white dress fluttering. The dim moonlight made its face a dark blur, indistinct. Ong Hung called out, voice trembling, Is that you, Min?" The pale figure tilted its head. From afar a child's laugh rang out, a chilling, mocking sound that tightened Ong Hung's chest. "Father, I'm here." Ong Hung cried out. "Min, don't call me like that. You're dead? Can't you let your father live in peace?" The white figure did not answer. It glided forward, coming closer. With each step the ground beneath the kapok tree grew wet, as if blood were seeping out. Suddenly another silhouette appeared, taller, dressed in dark clothes, a figure Ong Hung knew. In the moonlight he could clearly see the face. Tai, the man who had run over his child. Tai stood there, cigarette in hand, a smirk on his lips, his voice dripping contempt. "She's dead. What's the point of lawsuits? Your daughter is nothing but dust beneath my feet." Ong Hung ground his teeth, his body shaking. You dare speak of her?" Tai laughed, a harsh sound bouncing across the field. The laugh warped into Min's heart-rending cry. "Father, he must pay with his blood." Ong Hung clutched his head and collapsed on the step, gasping. Before him the two figures, Min and Tai, blurred together beneath the kapok tree. As real as ghosts, impossible to tell which was living and which was dead. On the porch, the black butterfly beat its wings hard. The red eyes on its wings glowed like hot coals, fixing him as if forcing him to rise. That terrible voice came again. "Blood, for blood?" Ong Hung screamed, tearing his throat raw. "I will kill you, Tai. I will make you die for my child." The wind howled long and loud, mingling with Min's cries and Tai's maddened laughter, turning the night in Bai Se into something that sounded like the gates of hell opening. The night was dead quiet. Only the chirping of insects and the wind whining across the fields could be heard. Ong Hung stood frozen in the yard, eyes fixed on the kapok tree. His hands were clenched so tight the veins bulged. Min's whisper came, now distant, now right at his ear. Father, he must die. Only his blood will wash away my blood. Ong Hung ground his teeth, tears streaming down his face. Child, if I do that, I will become a murderer. The voice answered immediately, cold and broken, each word sharp. If you don't do it, I will drag you with me. Ong Hung trembled, panting as if an invisible rope had been tightened around his neck. He collapsed to the ground, screaming in despair. All right, I promise you. At once the wind across the fields fell silent. The crying stopped. In its place came Ty's mocking laughter, drifting from beneath the kapok tree. You want me dead? Ha ha ha, try and see what you can do. Ong Hung lifted his face, eyes bloodshot, and shouted, Ty, I swear beneath this kapok tree, I will take your blood to pay for my child's blood. Thunder rolled as if to witness the vow. The kapok's shadow swayed, leaves rustling. The wind cut cold through the night. The black butterfly appeared, swooped down, and landed on Ong Hung's hand. The red eyes on its wings flashed, glaring straight into his face. Its voice, horrible and drawn out as if echoing from the underworld, whispered, The blood pact is made, blood must be repaid. Ong Hung's chest heaved, his breath came ragged. He howled like a wounded animal. Hear me, Ty, you won't live 3 more days. Mad laughter and sorrowful cries blended and echoed across the fields, sinking by say deeper into a night thick with malice. From that moment the blood pact was sealed. There was no turning back for Ong Hung. 11. Ty's fertilizer shop sat right on the main road. Its walls built strong, electric lights blazing all night. Everyone who passed by showed him respect. Ty was rich and well connected. That night he sat drinking with his cronies. Bottles and cans were piled up, laughter booming down the block. The girl's dead, so what's the fuss? Ty slapped the table, his voice slurred. I say one word and from the police to the gangs, no one dares touch me. His men laughed and fawned. Just then a gust of wind blew through, and every ceiling light went out at once. Darkness swallowed the room. Only the red glow from Ty's cigarette remained. One of the men panicked. Boss Ty, what's with this wind? In the dark came the slow, distinct shuffle of slippers, step by step, heavy and deliberate, drawing closer. Who's there? Ty shouted, his voice hard but his hand trembling. A child's mocking laugh rang from the corner. Then, a pale figure appeared, hair hanging over its face, clothes splattered with blood. The men panicked, some clutched their heads, others fled. The wooden door slammed and banged as if bolted, it would not open. The pale figure stepped forward, whispering, a chill in its words. Ty, why won't you give me back my life? The fetid smell of blood filled the room. Red streaks seeped down the walls as if someone had thrown blood against them. Ty's eyes bulged, his face went ashen, and he shouted, I'm not afraid, you're just a ghost. But the shadow lunged, grabbed his collar, and hauled him down onto the drinking table. Glasses toppled, liquor mixed with a thick, bloody fluid that oozed from nowhere, giving off a sickening stench. Min's voice whispered right in his ear, broken and icy. Blood must be paid with blood. Ty screamed, thrashing in terror. The more he struggled, the tighter the pale hand squeezed, as if it would crush his throat. The night sky went suddenly pitch black. Wind rose in fierce gusts, clouds massing with relentless lightning. A sudden, torrential rain hammered down, tearing shingles off Ty's shop. Inside, Ty was still pinned under the pale figure's grasp. He tried to roar, "Help me, somebody, help," but his cries were drowned by a mourning wail that rolled everywhere. It was not the voice of one person but sounded like 10 women groaning together. Sorrow mixing with the rain. Ty's men stood by the door, slamming it shut, trembling. Boss Ty, open the door, we're terrified. From within came only pounding, the crash of glasses, the clatter of overturned chairs. A hoarse female voice rose, seeming to come from the walls themselves. Ty, give me back my life. Lightning flashed, revealing the terrible scene. On the shop wall dozens of bloody handprints were imprinted, sliding down and leaving long dark red streaks. Ty's eyes widened, his face gone pale, stammering, God, Min, spare me, I beg you. The pale figure did not answer. It leaned close to Tai, hair soaked and hanging down, letting salty, bloody drops drip onto his neck. The crying fell silent. In its place came a whisper, soft but icy. My life, you will not escape? At that very moment a strong gust swept through and every light in the shop snapped back on. The pale figure vanished. Tai lay sprawled on the floor, his face drained of blood. Outside, the rain still poured, yet in the downpour every passerby heard a faint child's sob, seeming to come from the shop roof. Tai lay collapsed on the floor, sweat and blood mixed, his body shaking. The lights flickered. The Polar's shadow stretched across the cement. A chilling whisper sounded right behind him. You will pay the price? Tai jolted and spun around. No one stood there, only the giant black butterfly perched on a beam, its red eyes fixed on him. Its wings fluttered with a rustling like whispers from hell. The whisper continued, broken and icy. Blood, for blood, the grudge, not yet ended. Tai screamed and stumbled back, tripping over a chair and falling. The pale figure appeared at his feet, hair soaked, eyes bloodshot and staring. Min spoke, small and cutting cold. Why won't you return my life to me? He wailed, clutching his head. I'm afraid. I promise. I'll do anything. The pale figure said nothing, only stepped closer and laid hands as cold as ice on his shoulders. He felt his whole body freeze, his heart race, his breath snatched away. The black butterfly circled, its red gaze sweeping the entire shop. The sound of its wings blended with the whisper. Blood, unpaid, the grudge, not gone? Tai screamed in despair, eyes bulging. In a single moment the pale figure vanished, leaving him collapsed, mouth open, body stone cold. Outside the shop the rain still poured, but every villager who passed heard a faint, haunting child's cry, "Father, avenge me?" From that moment on, Tai's shop became a place of haunting, where the black butterfly and Min's spirit lingered. A constant reminder that the blood pledge under the kapok tree could not be denied. The night was quiet. The rain had just eased. Ong Hung stood at the gate, gripping the bamboo cutting knife. Cold wind slammed into his face, ruffling his hair and raising every hair on his arms. Min, where are you leading me? A pale figure slipped past the gate, hair plastered wet, eyes blazing red. Min looked at him and whispered softly, "Father, follow me, to the place where he sinned." Ong Hung nodded, his heart pounding, and followed the girl's shadow across the fallow field, where the earth still smelled of old blood. The black butterfly appeared, circling ahead like a guide, its red eyes blinking ominously. "Are you afraid, Min?" he asked, voice trembling. "No, Father, only you can help me take revenge." The two of them moved in silence toward Tai's shop. Outside, clouds still lay heavy, the moon half hidden, wind whining cold. With each step the ground squelched, leaving footprints stained with old blood. When they reached the shop, Min stopped and spoke coldly. "Do you remember your promise beneath the kapok tree?" "He must die." Ong Hung nodded hard, eyes wet with tears. "I will do it. I will put you to rest." The black butterfly settled on his shoulder, urging him on. "Go, blood must be repaid." Looking at the girl, he felt both fear and resolution. The path of vengeance was open. There was no turning back for Ong Hung. Tai's shop stood motionless in the night, its glass reflecting the dim moon. No bells, no insects, only wind whistling through the cracks with an eerie sound. Ong Hung stepped forward, his legs heavy, the knife clenched in his hand. The black butterfly circled, its red gaze sweeping the whole shop. "Min, are you sure she's here?" he asked, voice shaking. The pale figure flickered at the doorway, hair hiding her face, whispering icily, "Father, go, he is inside." Ong Hung drew a deep breath and pushed the door open. The shop was empty, smelling of blood and damp mold. Silence was so complete he could hear each drop of water beat from the tin roof onto the cement floor. Suddenly, from the shadows behind the counter, Tai's figure appeared, eyes wide, hand trembling with a cigarette. Who's in here?" I'll call the police." But when he saw Ong Hung's face and the butterfly's red eyes on his shoulder, his voice died. He croaked, "No, no way." The pale figure of Min stepped forward, voice cold as ice. "You must pay?" Tai staggered back, tripped over a chair, and fell. The whole shop seemed to come alive. Glasses toppled on their own. Shelves shook, and the walls creaked as if something clawed from within. The black butterfly beat its wings hard, its red eyes scanning the room, the rustling sound like whispered accusations. Blood, unpaid, the grudge, not ended. Ong Hung inhaled sharply, took a step toward Tai. The knife raised, his heart pounded, he cried out, "Tai, you must pay with your life for my child." The shop was still. No laughter, no shouting, only the butterfly's fierce red stare and the pale figure of Min before Tai. The air felt frozen, waiting for the storm of fury to break. Ong Hung took a deep breath. His hands trembled but his eyes burned with hatred. The black butterfly perched on his shoulder, its gaze seeming to pierce Tai's soul. "Tai, you won't live past today," he roared, his voice echoing through the shop. Tai cowered, eyes wide, his voice hoarse. "Help me, someone, help me." The pale figure of Min stepped closer, wet hair hiding half her face, her eyes bloodshot and unblinking. Her whisper was icy. "Blood must be paid?" Suddenly Ong Hung swung the bamboo cutting knife. The blade sliced through the silent air with a asterisk thwack, hitting tables and splintering wood with a thunderous crack. Tai panicked and tried to run, but the doorway seemed locked by some invisible force. "No, no," he screamed in despair. The black butterfly beat its wings hard, producing a dreadful rustle. The pale Min stood behind Tai, her cold hands on his shoulders. From the butterfly's red eyes came a whisper. "Blood for blood?" Tai's screams turned into choking sobs. His body shook but he could not break free. One beat, 2 beats, then his shrieks were cut off. When lightning flashed, Tai lay sprawled on the cement floor, his face ashen, eyes wide, motionless. Ong Hung dropped to his knees, clutching the knife, gasping, "Min, I have done it, rest now." The pale figure of Min came forward and raised her hand as if to wave to her father. Her voice was small but warm. "Father, I feel at peace." The black butterfly rose, beat its wings once, then faded into the night. Its red eyes dimmed, leaving the shop silent and soundless. All of Baisei sank into a heavy stillness. Only the smell of incense and dried blood remained. And the image of the black butterfly, a reminder that wronged spirits do not easily yield, and that vengeance travels hand in hand with a curse. The night was quiet. The Baisei fields held nothing but the wind's whistle over the stubble. Ong Hung returned to his small house, his hands still shaking from the act of vengeance, his eyes rimmed red. On the altar incense smoke curled, yet the metallic tang of blood lingered. The black butterfly appeared, circling the house, its red eyes fixed on him. "Father, are you finished?" Min's whisper came, small but clear. Ong Hung knelt and murmured, "Child, I have finished. I avenged you." But in the corner a pale figure flickered that was not Min, a shadowy shape half hidden in the dark. At once familiar and strange. Who is that?" he asked, his voice trembling. The butterfly beat its wings louder. The rustle terrifying. The pale figure glided around the house, leaving cold streaks along the walls. From the red eyes on the butterfly's wings came a whisper. "The grudge is not ended." Ong Hung swallowed hard, his heart pounding. Now he realized that even though vengeance was done, the wronged soul would not easily depart. Outside, any villager passing by felt the gloom and chill in the air, as if all of Baisei remained haunted by what had happened. The soft flutter of the butterfly's wings mixed with the wind's wail, forming a chilling sound that pierced the night. Ong Hung sighed and looked up at the altar. "Child, I know, but I'm afraid the grudge will follow me for life." Min appeared one last time, standing behind him, hair hiding half her face, her hands resting gently on his shoulders. "Father, don't be afraid. I'm with you." The black butterfly beat its wings one final time and vanished into the darkness. The Baisei fields fell silent again. But the echo of the curse lingered, a reminder that blood for blood never truly ends. The first night after the revenge, Ong Hung could not sleep. Outside on the porch, the butterfly's wings beat steadily, blending with the wind that howled through the cracks like whispers from the other side. "Child, you're still here," he murmured, voice trembling. A pale figure flickered down the hall, long hair hiding her face, whispering coldly, "Father, don't sleep, I am still following." Ong Hung shivered and gripped the tablecloth. The strong smell of incense mixed with the metallic tang of dried blood still hung around the altar, making the whole house feel full of restless spirits. In the nights that followed, villagers began to hear a child's cries drifting from the fallow fields, the slow shuffle of slippers across empty porches, and sometimes a pale shape gliding past their windows. "My God, they say Ong Hung's house is haunted now," a passerby whispered as he crossed the village. Ong Hung knew Min's spirit had not left this world. Each time he saw the black butterfly circling the house, its red eyes fixed on him and reminded him of the blood oath beneath the kapok tree. One night he sat before the altar holding Min's notebook. The lines written in blood still glowed. "Father, I'm so cold, avenge me." He closed his eyes and sighed. Relief and fright warred in his chest. The act of vengeance had been carried out, but he knew the restless soul and the curse would remain, never fading. The Baisei fields fell quiet, only the soft beat of the butterfly's wings remained, as if reminding the whole village that blood and hatred endure, and vengeance never truly ends. Ong Hung sat at the altar, his hand trembling as it rested on Min's notebook. The same blooded words were there. "Father, I'm so cold, avenge me." The wind outside whipped hard, billowing the curtains and joining the steady flutter of the butterfly's wings. Ong Hung looked toward the yard and saw the black butterfly circling, its red gaze seeming to pierce his very soul. "Min, are you at peace now?" he asked, voice hollow. The pale shape of his daughter appeared, hair soaked and hanging to half her face. Her whisper was soft but cold. "I feel at peace, but the curse is not lifted?" Ong Hung swallowed hard, heart pounding. The butterfly's red eyes swept the house. Then it slowly flew away into the thick darkness. Outside, the Baisei fields were pitch black. The wind whistled through the grass, mingling with a faint, mournful child's cry. "Father, avenge me?" Ong Hung sat motionless, feeling each cold breath. Though vengeance was done, a vague dread lingered, that the restless spirit and the curse would persist, following his every step and haunting the villagers. The black butterfly faded from view, but its red stare remained etched in his mind. He understood then that Baisei would never be truly peaceful, and that the tale of blood, grievance, and the night butterfly would echo on through the dark. The night was still, heavy black clouds smothering the moon. The barren fields lay in darkness, only the chirp of insects breaking the silence. Ong Hung stood before the kapok tree, gripping the bamboo chopper tight. "Min, are you still here?" he whispered, voice trembling. A pale figure flickered beneath the branches, hair soaked, eyes glowing red. The chilling whisper came, "Father, they will return? I am still here." Ong Hung shuddered, his whole body trembling. The kapok tree loomed, its leaves rustling like it breathed cold air. "Who dares approach this tree at night?" A deep, raspy voice echoed from afar, both familiar and terrifying. The black butterfly appeared, circling the branches, its crimson eyes blazing down on him. Its wings beat with a dreadful hiss, urging, "Look, the grudge has not faded." Ong Hung swallowed hard, breathing deep. "Child, lead me, I must know the truth." Min's pale form drifted quickly to the base of the tree, then halted, her whisper cold but broken. "Father, they are coming back." The night fell silent again. Only the butterfly's wings and the rustle of leaves made a haunting chorus, a reminder that Baisei had never known peace since the curse began. Tai's shop had long been abandoned, but tonight, moonlight revealed dark streaks of dried blood on the cement floor. The door creaked ajar, the wind rushing through carrying the shuffle of slippers and the stench of iron. "Who's there, inside?" Ong Hung muttered, voice shaking. From a corner rose a shrill, chilling laughter. It grew louder, layered, as if many voices merged, echoing from the walls and ceiling. Ha ha ha, you thought it was over? Startled, Hung staggered back a few steps. The black butterfly circled the shop, its glowing eyes probing every shadow. Min's pale figure drifted past, hair covering her face, whispering, "Father, it isn't finished." Suddenly glasses and bottles rattled and crashed to the cement, shattering into shards. The hiss of wings blended with the ghastly laughter, smothering him in dread. "Child, take me," he gasped, clutching the chopper. Min's ghost drew close, her freezing hands settling on his shoulders. The whisper seared into him. "Father, you must know, the grudge has not faded." The laughter stopped, silence swallowed the shop, but outside, the fields lay in darkness, the wind tearing through, carrying the butterfly's hiss and faint weeping, a reminder that Bai Se would never escape the shadows. Hung stood in front of the shop, gripping the knife, his heart pounding. The pale figure of Min appeared in the night, long hair hiding her face, her bloodshot eyes staring straight at him. "Father, listen carefully, the curse is not over." "Min, what do you want to say?" he asked, voice trembling. "In the nights ahead, they will return. Bai Se is never safe," the whisper came, cold as from the grave. The black butterfly circled him, its red eyes tracking his every step, then settled on his shoulder. "Father, be careful, the grudge has not faded." Out across the field the scrape of slippers echoed, mingled with mocking childlike laughter on the wind. Villagers watching from afar shivered. "My God, Hung's house, that butterfly, it's flying again." Hung understood that, though revenge had been carried out, the nightmare was only beginning. Min's warning rang in his mind. Nothing was finished. Darkness still followed every footstep. And Bai Se remained haunted. The pale figure of Min slowly dissolved into the night. The black butterfly rose high, its red eyes burning bright against the dark. Hung stood motionless, hands shaking, his heart heavy, realizing the curse would continue, and no one knew when it would return. The wind tore across the fallow fields, rattling bamboo fences and rustling dead leaves. Hung stepped out, gripping the bamboo chopper, each breath fogging white in the night. The smell of dried blood still rose from Tai's shop and the kapok tree, quickening his pulse and raising gooseflesh across his skin. "Min, are you still here?" he whispered, voice shaky, eyes misting. A pale shape shimmered from the field, hair plastered wet by the wind. Min stood there, eyes bloodshot, whispering softly but chillingly, "Father, they are coming back. You must be careful." Hung swallowed hard, his whole body felt frozen. The black butterfly appeared, circling him, its red gaze seeming to pierce his soul. The rustle of its wings beat steady like the heart of the empty fields, choking him with dread. From the distance came Tai's mocking laughter, hoarse and hollow. "Ha ha ha, you thought it was over? I'm still here." Hung flinched and stepped back, his foot slipping in the mud, and he fell. The gusts grew fiercer, whipping his raincoat and plastering wet hair to his face. The butterfly beat its wings, swooped, and then dipped as if guiding him toward something. Min's pale shape came close, cold hands on his shoulders. "Father, they haven't let go. Tonight, you will see." In the still air he noticed long footprints pressed into the muddy ground, as if many had passed though no one could be seen. The wings and the wind made a chilling rustle. "My God," he gasped, each cell in his body strained. "Child, lead me." The black butterfly beat its wings and flew toward Tai's shop. Its red gaze illuminated old blood stains on the cement and rotted floorboards. Hung rose slowly, each step sinking into sodden grass, hearing leaves whisper and his own heartbeat pounding. Approaching the shop, the air thickened, the smells of blood, damp mold, and cold death mixed together. Min's pale figure stood at the door, hair flying in the wind. "Father, step in, this time, there is no turning back." Hung drew a deep breath, fear and resolve rising together. The mocking laughter echoed from inside the abandoned shop. "Ha ha ha, you think it's over? I'm still here." The black butterfly landed on his shoulder, its red eyes scanning the room, then circled the shop as if to lead the way. Ong Hung stepped inside, feeling every tile and plank like a living thing, aware that the curse and the grudge had never truly ended. Outside, the Baisei fields were pitch dark. The wind howled through the grass, mingling with a faint, mournful child's cry. "Father, avenge me?" Ong Hung knew this was only the beginning of a long, terrible night where blood, resentment, and darkness intertwined, and no one could know how it would end. The shop lay in darkness, the stench of dried blood, damp mold, and a biting chill filling the air. Shards of broken glass still littered the concrete floor, trembling faintly in the draft. The black butterfly circled above, its glowing red eyes probing every corner. Who's there? Is someone here?" Ong Hung whispered, his voice trembling. From the shadows, a jagged form emerged. Matted hair hung over hollow features, eyes glowing blood red. A grotesque figure, Tai, no longer among the living, but a twisted specter steeped in the malice he had sown. "Father," Tai's voice rasped, broken between laughter and screams. "I am not done. You will die?" Ong Hung staggered back, clutching the bamboo knife tighter. The black butterfly settled on his shoulder, its red gaze burning, wings rustling with an eerie hiss. Behind him, Min's pale figure appeared, hair streaming in the wind, her whisper chilling but steady. "Father, don't be afraid. I'll guide you." But Tai's ghost lunged forward, each step pounding the concrete, the air thick with the reek of death. Ong Hung's chest tightened, each breath strangled, his heart hammering wildly. "Min, lead me?" he gasped. Min drew closer, her icy hands pressing onto his shoulders. The butterfly's wings beat violently, gusts sweeping through the doorway, mixing into a dreadful chorus. Tai shrieked, his manic laughter blending with Hung's cries and the rustle of wings. "Ha ha ha, you thought it was over? I am not dead yet." With each beat of the wings, the whole space shuddered, bottles toppled, shelves rattled, timbers groaned, as though the shop itself had come alive. Ong Hung stepped forward, eyes bloodshot, his voice a raw roar. "Tai, you must face it all." The specter lunged, but the black butterfly swooped, circling like an unseen shield. Min raised her pale hand, her voice cutting cold. "Blood must be repaid, the grudge is not broken." The clash between Ong Hung and Tai's ghost reverberated, screams colliding with the thundering wings. The night thickened, suffused with the reek of blood, the stench of death, and a suffocating chill that seeped into every sense. Ong Hung knew this was the final confrontation, deciding who would fall. Yet even as he braced himself, the hatred, the dread, and the glowing red eyes of the butterfly whispered that nothing was finished. Darkness still remained. Ong Hung stood before the abandoned shop, gripping the bamboo chopper tightly, his eyes bloodshot. Min's pale figure appeared before him, her long hair whipping in the wind, her whisper soft yet resolute. "Father, tonight, it must end. Lead me, child," he gasped, his voice trembling. Tai's twisted shade emerged inside the shop, body mangled, eyes glowing red, his entire form radiating the stench of death. A ghastly laugh split the silence. "Ha ha ha, you thought it was over? I'm still here." The black butterfly circled the shop, its glowing red eyes piercing every corner, its wings thrumming like the heartbeat of the night itself. Hung drew a long breath, each step carrying both dread and burning fury. "Tai, it ends now," he roared, his voice echoing through the shop. Tai lunged, but the butterfly swooped, a freezing wind coiling around him. Min stepped forward, her icy hands gripping her father's shoulders, her voice cold yet steady. "Blood must be repaid. Tonight, the grudge ends." With a swift, decisive strike of Hung's blade, joined by Min's spectral power and the butterfly's dark force, Tai shrieked, his body convulsing before dissolving into the crimson glow. Cries, laughter, and the thunder of wings merged into one dreadful chorus before fading into silence. Hung collapsed to his knees, clutching the knife, panting heavily. Min approached, her long hair veiling her face, her red eyes now softened. "Father, I'm at peace, the restless souls are freed? The butterfly beat its wings one final time, soaring into the night sky, its red glow fading into the darkness. The Baisei fields grew still, no more howling winds, no more rustling grass. Hung rose slowly, gazing around, breathing in a rare calm. The stench of incense, blood, and chill had lifted. The pale figures dissolved one by one, and for the first time in years, Baisei knew no shadows, no curses, no haunting butterfly. He stepped into the fields, moonlight falling across his weary but peaceful face. Min had finally found rest. Vengeance was fulfilled, and Baisei had returned to tranquility. The story ends here. All spirits, all grudges, all darkness have been repaid and released. The blood and the black butterfly have passed, leaving only memories of fear, justice, and the eternal love of family. Thank you for staying until the end. If you enjoyed this story, please give a like and subscribe to the channel. Your support inspires us to create more haunting tales for you. If you have any questions or spot any mistakes, feel free to leave a comment below. This video is a fictional ghost story, crafted purely for entertainment and to deliver a chilling experience. We do not promote superstition, nor do we encourage any dangerous behavior mentioned in the story. Any resemblance to actual people, places, or events is purely coincidental. Sincere thanks to all our viewers for accompanying Bong Toi Trong Dem ***.